You're listening to How to Drink Less, and I'm your host, Adriana Cloud. Whether your goal is to cut back, take a break, or say goodbye to alcohol for good, this podcast will help you stop drinking on autopilot, learn how to manage cravings, and feel fully in control around alcohol. It's easier than you think. Listen on to find out how. Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for another episode. Now, tell me if this sounds familiar. You want to drink less. You're fully on board with a decision. You have all the stats about how alcohol is bad for you, and you're determined to cut back. You start the day with strong intentions. You swear you're not going to drink tonight, but then 6 p.m. hits and you find yourself pouring a glass anyway. And it's not because you forgot your intention or you changed your mind. You know drinking will ruin your sleep and that you will regret it in the morning. But in that moment, when you walked into the kitchen at the end of the workday, you just felt like something in you took over and you had no choice but to pour the drink. Why does that happen? Because information and intention are not enough to change a habit, and especially not one that you've repeated for years or maybe decades. Anything that you think repeatedly, feel repeatedly, or do repeatedly becomes a habit. And over time, those habits get wired into your subconscious, which means that you do them on autopilot. I usually give the toothbrushing example here. You've brushed your teeth so many times, you no longer have to stop and think about how to unscrew the cap on the toothpaste and squeeze the paste onto your brush. You do it on autopilot while thinking about your to-do list or trying to remember if you RSVP'd to your friend Megan's birthday party. Or think about this. Have you ever driven home from work and realized you don't remember the last 10 minutes of the drive? You didn't consciously decide every turn. You weren't actively telling yourself, now I'm switching lanes, now I'm going to signal. No, you did it all without really being aware that you're doing it. You were going on muscle memory. Your body just followed the well-worn routine. And if one day you need to drive somewhere different, like going to a new dentist, you might accidentally start heading towards your usual route before you catch yourself. That's what habit looks like. It's automation through repetition, because automation means efficiency, and our brains love efficiency. And this is why it's hard to change an old habit just by consciously deciding that you're going to do something different. You might decide that you're going to take the night off drinking, but your unconscious mind did not get that memo. And this is the part that feels a bit crazy. You think, what's wrong with me that I can't stop? Nothing is wrong with you. Your brain is doing exactly what it was trained to do. It's running the old program, the one that you've installed through repetition. And according to that old program, 6 p.m. means a drink in your hand. So that's what you're craving at 6 p.m. This is where hypnosis can be immensely helpful, because with hypnosis, we can drop into the unconscious and interrupt that old program that's still running in the background. We can break the association between 6 p.m. and the glass of Prosecco once and for all, and we can actually teach your brain new ways to respond to the old triggers. The result is that instead of operating on autopilot and reaching for the bottle without even consciously deciding to, you're now in control to intentionally choose what to do. You get to actively make a choice instead of passively letting yourself be carried by the force of your habit. Okay, that all sounds really great, you might be thinking, but what actually is hypnosis? How does it work? I admit that until a couple of years ago, I myself had no idea what hypnosis really was beyond what I might have seen on TV. I thought a hypnotist waves a watch in front of your face and you fall asleep, and then you might remember stuff from the past that you thought you had forgotten. The other image that comes to people's minds when they think about hypnosis is stage hypnosis. You might have seen a hypnotist getting people on stage and hypnotizing them and having them do weird dances or clucking like chickens. And of course, nobody wants that. And yes, stage hypnosis is a real thing, but that's not what I'm talking about. The kind of hypnosis I practice is not mind control or forcing you to do something against your will. If I could control people's minds, trust me, there are quite a few people's minds I'd love to change, but unfortunately, it's not that. Hypnosis or trance, the two are related and often I use the terms interchangeably. It's a state of focused attention and heightened suggestibility. When you're in that state, it is easier to access the unconscious mind and introduce new associations and perspectives in a way that your brain can more easily absorb. We go in and out of trance many times during the day, every day. We just don't call it trance. Have you ever caught yourself staring out the window but not really seeing anything outside because your mind is on the argument you had with your partner last night? Or have you ever found yourself so engrossed in a movie that when someone on screen jumps, you jump too? Or have you ever been so caught up in an activity that you lose track of time and suddenly 2 hours have gone by? These are all states of trance, my friends. What that means is that for a stretch of time, the barrier between your conscious awareness and your unconscious mind was temporarily lowered. And in that state, you're more connected to your intuition, that deeper level of knowing that we sometimes call knowing something in our guts. And in a state of trance, you're also more suggestible, so messages and new beliefs can go in deeper. My hypnosis teacher, Melissa Tiers, once described trance as meditation with an agenda. If you've ever practiced meditation of any kind, you're familiar with that state of dropping into the body and connecting with the breath and trying to detach yourself from your thoughts and feelings. Trance is similar, except you have a specific issue that you're directing your attention to on purpose so that you can change your beliefs around it or better understand it, for example, or to change a behavior related to that issue. And hypnosis is just the type of trance that you go into intentionally at a time when you choose to do so, either by yourself or being led by someone else, like yours truly. There are certain techniques that help you access a state of trance, and many of them you can learn to do on your own. So you can do self-hypnosis. I practice self-hypnosis, and I teach my clients a few of these techniques so they can practice on their own as well. Before we go any further, I want to stress again that hypnosis is not mind control or me overriding your free will. Most of the time, most people remain fully conscious the entire time they're in trance. And most of the time, though not always, people remember everything that happens in trance. Occasionally, some people might go quite deep, so they might only vaguely remember thoughts or images that they saw in trance, but they still have an awareness of what happened. And crucially, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, or at least that's the way that I practice it. I don't tell you what to do. I might make suggestions, and you get to choose whether to take on these suggestions or not. I don't practice hypnosis without consent. You, as my client, are in the driver's seat, and you get to decide what to suggest to yourself. I am only here as a guide. I can show you the path, but I'm not going to push you down the path. You can go at your own speed if you decide to go down the path at all. This is also a good place to clarify that hypnosis is not magic. I can't snap my fingers and suddenly make you never crave alcohol again. I can't make you immune to social pressure or erase your desire overnight. Hypnosis cannot replace the actual skills you need to build in order to change your life sustainably. And importantly, hypnosis is not something done to you. It's a co-creative process that you actively participate in. You cannot be made to do something you fundamentally don't want to do. Hypnosis works with your goals, not against them. This part is key. You have to want the change. And you also have to want to do hypnosis and to keep an open mind that it will work. And you have to actively keep doing it until you've created the changes that you want to see. But here's what hypnosis can do, and here's how I use it with my clients to help them change their drinking habits. First of all, hypnosis can help to reduce the emotional charge of cravings. So when the thought, I need a drink, pops into your head, instead of it feeling urgent and loud and demanding an immediate response, I teach you how to put some distance between you and the craving and how to neutralize it so you're back in control. Second, I use hypnosis to help you break the old pattern loops that no longer serve you. Most of us have built strong associations over the years. Things like, alcohol helps me to relax faster. Celebration requires bubbly. TV is more fun when I'm drinking. I always have 2 mimosas with brunch, and so on and so on. Hypnosis allows us to break those links, so the alcohol is no longer the default choice in those situations. One of my clients used to pour a glass of wine every night while making dinner. She would walk into the kitchen and immediately reach for the bottle without even thinking about it. Now, after our work together, she's completely stopped doing that. She sometimes still thinks about the wine, but the urgency is all gone. The physical pull is gone. The desire for the wine, it's just a memory instead of something that she feels like she must act on. And finally, I use hypnosis to help you practice new ways to think, feel, and act with intention. Because it's not enough to break the old patterns. We also have to teach the brain what we want it to do instead. How do you want to feel when you meet your friends for a night out and you see them all ordering margaritas? What choice do you want to make in that moment? That's what we practice. How you need to feel in order to choose to have a soda and feel good about it. And we practice it until it becomes your new default, and you no longer have to even think about it because that's just who you are now. If you normally drink to tamp down anxiety when meeting people you're not super close with, we teach your brain how to feel confident and relaxed without alcohol. If you normally drink to escape feeling stress and overwhelm, we practice new ways to manage those emotions. If you drink to manage chronic pain, we work on the cravings on the one hand, but we also work on managing the pain itself and how you respond to that pain so that alcohol is no longer required. As you can see, this is not a cookie-cutter approach. It's tailored to your specific goals and the specific challenges that you're dealing with. And these are just a practical application of hypnosis that have to do with direct behavior change. There are other applications that can be equally life-changing, such as gaining deeper awareness of the role alcohol has played in your life, forgiving your past self for things you might have done while drinking, releasing the emotional charge of certain painful or traumatic memories, connecting to your future self, rewiring your internal dialogue, building more self-compassion, and on and on. In the end, it's all about building a better relationship with yourself and feeling more in control of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. I talk a lot about how, when it comes to making changes, it's not just about changing the behavior itself, but also about changing your identity. So instead of telling yourself, I can't drink, which feels like you're denying yourself something you want, you say, I don't drink, which is you fully exercising your agency. You become a non-drinker. That's your identity. And hypnosis works great for that. It helps you to step into and embody the identity of a non-drinker. Hypnosis tends to work particularly well if you're stuck in a loop doing the same thing despite your best intentions. Maybe you even understand your patterns intellectually, but you struggle to interrupt them, and hypnosis can help with that. Or sometimes people come to me when they've had some success changing their behavior through willpower, but they still feel FOMO and they don't trust themselves around alcohol. So then we work on making the desired choice feel easier. That's what I want for you. I want you to make choices that feel easy and that you feel good about, rather than having to forcefully restrain yourself through gritted teeth or hiding from social interactions where alcohol might be served because you still don't feel in control. In closing, I just want to say again that hypnosis is not about erasing desire or magically turning you off your favorite wine overnight. It's about changing your relationship with desire and giving you tools to act more intentionally rather than drinking on autopilot. It's teaching you how to act in a way that's aligned with the person you want to be and to do so easily and without friction. If that sounds like something you want, let's talk about how hypnosis can work for you. I offer free consultations, and you should book one if you're even remotely curious about my work. We'll chat about your current drinking habits, where you're finding yourself stuck in a loop, and what kind of a relationship you want to have with alcohol in the long term. I won't ever tell you what to do because there's no one-size-fits-all solution. But whatever your goal is when it comes to your drinking, I'm confident that hypnosis can help you. So go to the link in the show notes and book your free call because let's be serious, when else are you going to talk to a hypnotist? And finally, I have a request for you. If you like the podcast and find value in listening, please do me a favor and follow or subscribe to the show wherever you normally listen to it. And for bonus feel-good points, please leave me a review so other people can find the podcast and learn from it. It takes only a couple of minutes to leave a review, but it makes a world of difference to me and to people who are looking to drink less, and I'll be super grateful. This is where I'll leave you for today, my friends. Take good care and have a nice week. I'll talk to you soon. If you're looking for practical advice for how to say no to alcohol and say yes to yourself, you will want to get on my email list. Sign up to receive my free guide with 7 steps to kickstart your sobriety. The link is in the show notes, so go and grab it now, and I'll see you soon in your inbox.